Sean, you've been out there at Windsor today, and amazingly, you've come up close and personal with the happy couple themselves.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise. I was there doing some interviews and just getting the take of the sort of color
The
out there on
atmosphere.
out there on the streets, and I started to hear a bit of a commotion. It was by the Long Walk, just in front of Windsor Castle. And I was like, I better go check this out. So I walked up to basically where the guardrails were for the public and started rolling my camera just in case. And turns out it was Meghan and Harry
Oh,
in a Land Rover
exciting.
heading up to Windsor Castle.
Wow.
So happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, like
Amazing.
any couple with their nuptials 2 days away, I suppose they're getting the atmosphere, they're doing the last minute things. But the thing is, they're not like any couple.
Right.
Right. And the big thing we want to talk about is Meghan's father and his condition and this heart surgery that he has had. First of all, what do you know about what condition he's in and what did he have done?
So I spoke with Thomas Markle last night. Thomas said that he was doing well. He was recovering from the surgery. He had surgery on his heart. Doctors placed at least 3 stents in
Yeah.
his heart,
Hmm.
which are put in there to open, arteries to make sure that they don't get restricted, because obviously that can lead to additional problems. And this was to help as well with some of the damage that was caused by his heart attack a little
Now,
over a week ago.
as you understand it, this is very interesting to hear. The stress that brought about his heart attack was as a direct result of another man called Thomas Markle, who
That
is his son.
That's correct. Thomas Markle Sr. told me that his son, Thomas Markle Jr., who is Meghan's half brother, that his letter to Prince Harry, which was published, I believe, in Touch Weekly, and then went around from there,
Yeah.
basically encouraging or pleading with Harry to not marry Meghan. It just really. Barbed and caustic wording in that letter. He says that it was that letter that caused his heart attack, he believes, because of the sort of emotional strain that brought on.
Had he already ruled himself out, or has the heart surgery ruled him out?
It changed, to be honest. He had a change of heart. He first on Monday, because of the photo controversy, the stage photo controversy, that was for him. He decided at that point, you know what, I should bow out because this has now created negative attention around the wedding. This has now, I don't want to embarrass the royal family any further. I don't want to embarrass my daughter. So I'm going to step aside. And I think he also didn't want the attention, probably, himself either. But by Tuesday, after texting with Meghan, he had a change of heart and decided that if he could, he would try to go. Now, the what happened though by Tuesday was that he had already taken himself back to hospital, and because he had chest pains on the previous day.
You couldn't make it up,
So
could you?
fascinating.
And he said that the chest pains were brought on, but he believes that they would, happen every time he would become emotional or have like emotional stress happen. That is when his chest pains would happen. So he went back to hospital and was going to try to make it to the wedding at that point, but he was waiting to hear back from doctors. Doctors then ran some tests,
Mm-hmm.
and because he had the heart attack a week before,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, doctors advised him that he needed to have this surgery. And he, at one point, was trying to lobby them to let him go, which, by the way, we should say a week prior, when he had the heart attack, he left the hospital early. By his account of what
Mm-hmm.
he told
Mm-hmm.
me, he was supposed to stay in the hospital longer,
Mm-hmm.
but he basically discharged himself because even though he had the heart attack, he was planning at that point on going to the wedding. Now, it was at this week when doctors urged him to have the surgery that's when he decided to heed their advice and have the surgery.
Have we any insight or indication how she is bearing up with this?
I'm told that when the controversy broke over the weekend, that it was I think it's exactly as many might imagine. It was painful, for her. It was embarrassing, and was at times tearful over what had happened. But by all accounts, she is a strong woman, and she has dealt with quite a bit before in terms of struggles in her personal life. And I think that this is another example of her pulling through. Not that it's necessarily a strong indicator, but I will say when I saw her today, she did look in good spirits with Harry. We should note that it was also the first time that we've seen them publicly together, since all of this broke. And so it seems to be that it must be a strain. It must be hard.
Sean, if that was my dad and I was going to get married, and I knew he was in hospital, I would at least have said, Dad, do you want me to come over? I can stop all this. This is not worth your life. Do you want me to be by your side? Do we know if any conversation like that took place?
We don't know if that specific type of conversation took place. We do know that they were in communication once it became public that he had a heart attack.
Okay.
We don't know if Meghan knew about that heart attack prior to that revelation becoming public, but she has expressed concern for his health to him. So it certainly it is possible that she, because of that concern for his health, may have communicated to him as well, wanting to make sure he took care of his health.
And she obviously knows her half family. She knows about her half brother and her sister and her father's family. Knowing those people, do you find it a bit strange that it's come to all this embarrassment and backbiting and stabbing and unpleasantness? It just feels wrong.
It's, I think anyone who would be getting married and having to deal with a family, back and forth, such as this, would be sad about that. And certainly, this is meant to be a happy day.
Yeah.
And to, I've been asked, if it sort of overshadows it. And I don't think it fully overshadows it, because I think at the end of the day, the message that we're getting out of this is still a message of love and resilience and, two people coming together to create a life together.
Yeah.
But you can't help but, feel a tinge of sadness about
Kind
this.
of leaves a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. From my conversations with Thomas, which I thought was very remarkable, is that when they were speaking over text message on Monday, again, this is just after the story of the staged photo controversy had sort of broken, Meghan made sure to express that she still loves her father, that she was concerned about his health, for sure, but also that she bore him no ill will with regards to the staged photos. So there is clearly, and then, by the way, shortly after that is when Thomas Markle Sr. decided that, if he could, he wanted to try and go to the wedding after he said that he was going to pull out. So that shows, I think, that how much care and affection there is there. Yes. And the fact that Thomas had left the hospital early, as I said,
yes,
the previous
but still no protection around this man, and by that I mean in terms of media protection, so that sharks like you
don't lump me in with
able to circle the waters around this man. But this is amazing. You must have been, what a scoop for you, what a tremendous scoop for you. Congratulations on that. Were you actually surprised that you got to speak to him?
I was, only because I knew that this was a person that everyone wanted to speak with. But, and to that point, by the way, in terms of like media protection, and the sharks out there, we had received, there was guidance from Kensington Palace to media outlets around the world with regards to providing Thomas Markle Sr. and Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother, privacy, and to not encourage, paparazzi photos by running them because they are often very intrusive. And I have to tell you that I personally took that to heart, and our organization took that to heart. We didn't publish any photos of Thomas Markle.
But how did you get the interview?
I got the interview by finding his phone number and then by calling him.
Good old-fashioned journalism.
Honestly, that is the answer. It is good old-fashioned journalism.
Was the implicit directive from Buckingham Palace, don't talk to these people, stay away from them? Is that not really, I suppose, not only don't take pictures of them, but actually they would just prefer if they disappeared off the planet and weren't available?
More or less.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a fair characterization.
Mm-hmm. So, once you got the story, what restrictions did you place upon yourself, or what were you worried about? Or, I mean, why did he want to speak?
Again, I think that's something you'd have to ask Thomas Markle. But from what I gathered, it was that, and what I approached him with and have said all along, is that I'm not looking to characterize you in any particular way.
But he may have been looking to characterize himself in some way, because let's face it, the recent press attention around him was not good, was it?
Exactly. And I think that he felt trodden on by the media narratives that were existing at that point. And I certainly felt that there was a missing puzzle, Normally, in sort of rudimentary journalism, it's side A says something about side B. Okay, now we have to get side B, and we had no idea what Thomas's perspective on all of this was, and that was the missing piece of the puzzle. And I really felt that we needed to understand that a little bit more. Obviously, there's questions that still linger, but I do feel that by speaking with him, we have a fuller picture.
Yeah, sorry. When you spoke to him, I know you're a journalist and you're not a doctor, but what was his mental state like? Do you think he's all there?
I understand the interest in that question. I don't think I can really comment on that. Because I just don't think it would be fair.
No, sure.
Yeah,
but sure.
He's painted as being reclusive, for instance. Do you think that's fair?
I think it would be fair to say that he is maybe shy by nature.
Okay.
And I think that can best be exemplified by two things, or actually one thing. Thomas Markle made his living working behind the camera and won an Emmy doing so. His daughter, Meghan Markle, up until now, made her living working in front of the camera. Yeah. These are two different personality types in terms of what type of attention they might be comfortable with. So I think it would be fair to say, I mean, Thomas did explicitly tell me that he had been hounded by paparazzi for a year.
Gosh.
And
look, we can believe this. We don't need any persuasion on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is such a hot
story. There's evidence
of
it. Yeah. All you have to do is look at the photos and videos that some, did publish, and to feel kind of icky, looking at that.
But that's why Kensington Palace's sort of little letter is just not even worth the paper it's written on, because who's going to take that to heart?
Sean, why does he live where he lives? Why is he so far out of the way? In pictures that I've seen, he doesn't look as if he's well off, or that he's got much money.
There are. It's not something that I've discussed with Thomas.
Is it New Mexico he lives?
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. Rosarito. It's a beach town, just not far from the U.S. border. There have been a lot of different, speculations as to that. I think certainly he does, and it does seem to be that he enjoys being off the beaten track, beaten path.
Is he so far off the beaten track that Prince Harry hasn't visited him? Or would it be advisable for Harry and Meghan to visit him where he is in Mexico?
I don't think that it would be impossible for Prince Harry to visit, or Meghan to visit him. I think that it might present logistical challenges.
Yes.
Certainly, I don't think Harry and Meghan would want to be hounded in the way.
Has Harry met him?
From my understanding, Harry has not. They have spoken
Well, I've said
on
that
the
to you all
phone.
this week, haven't I?
What-
How
what's that about?
strange is that the father-in-law is going to meet the groom, if he was going to come, on the day.
But remember, Sarah, we're talking about royalty here.
And there's protocol,
is
isn't
that
there?
an excuse? Is that an excuse for doing things different? Do you know what? What I'm saying is, I don't really care who you are. If you're going to marry someone's daughter, surely. And Harry, I mean, I'm a big fan of Harry. I think
Yeah.
he's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's very approachable, whatever. It just surprises me that there hasn't been a family meeting. Maybe, Sean, that tells us what we need to know about how close Meghan is to other members of her family. Has Harry met any of them? Has he met her mother, for instance?
Yes, he
Yes,
has.
he's met the mother.
Yeah, he's met Doria Ragland, and in the
He met
interview
her at the Invictus Games, didn't he? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in the interview that Meghan and Harry did the day they announced their engagement, he'd called her an amazing woman. Believes I'm an amazing or an incredible woman. So I think Harry does have a great deal of affection for Doria, and I think certainly while Meghan loves, I think she does love both her parents and cares for them deeply. I think she spends more time, physically together with Doria than she does with Thomas.